Okay, the first reason, like we just got done talking about, was the territories from the Mexican-American War. Were they going to be free slaves or free territories, or were they going to be slave-holding territories? The second reason that I want to talk about is the Fugitive Slave Act. Now, the Fugitive Slave Act, chances are you probably have never heard about this before. There was a problem with slaves who wanted, from the Southern point of view, who wanted to run away and hopefully get to their freedom. The hope was if they could get to the northern states, their hope was that they could get there and become free. Slave owners considered their slaves as property, just as they would consider cattle or barn or anything else they would consider as their property, and they wanted them returned to them if they did run away. The Fugitive Slave Act, this was passed, and this was in effect throughout not only the South, obviously, but throughout the North as well, too. It was passed, and it allowed that any black person who was accused of being a runaway slave could then be brought to trial. The difficult part about this as well, in addition, was the black person would then not even be allowed to testify for themselves at their trial. There was really no effective way for them to prove their case. And even to make this even more difficult is that any white person who is resisting bringing this black person to trial, to be arrested and brought to trial, they could be arrested themselves. So a white person could be arrested for trying to interfere with police officers arresting a black person that was accused, again, just accused of being a runaway slave. Now you'd think, well, that makes the case very difficult for them to prove they're innocent, but it gets even more difficult than that. The way the judges were paid in these is if they gave a guilty verdict that this black person was indeed a runaway slave, they would be paid $10. Now, if they decided that, hey, they're innocent, they're only going to get paid $5. So there is an economic built-in disadvantage that a black person has if they're accused of being a runaway slave, because the judge is going to be paid twice as much if they find this black person and they accuse him of being a runaway slave. What this is going to result in is that it's not going to affect just the runaway slaves who are captured, but it now makes it possible that a free black person ultimately could be sent to slavery in the South. So that's reason number 2, the Fugitive Slave Act.